$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum. Sisters and brothers. My Rahim here, Master Covenant, Breaker 7 Seals. Well, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna try to talk slower and clear, but they're distorting my video and distorting my audio on YouTube. There's nothing I can do about it. It's not my equipment, it's them. When it shows up on my tapes, fine. When it shows up on a live broadcast, it's interrupted. So they're doing it purposely. That's okay. It's not going to stop anything. They think that it will, but it won't. Again, $5,000. They're all out. They're all over the internet now. Y'all, Farrakhan's people, and they're all aware of this. And not one of them stepped up because they can't, because they know they're lying. They're conscious they're lying. They're conscious of the fact they're lying. We can prove it. That so-called broadcast today, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Right? Show how desperate they are. Like I said, resistance means growth. And they're very desperate. I mean, they've lost control of themselves. They're so desperate. They try to make Farrakhan relevant. Just think about it. Farrakhan claimed that God told him to shut up. Yet he was talking. Remember, he's probably, because I told him, why don't you show a picture? Why don't you show him active? So they show him coming in. Well, show the picture. They show him coming in. And he's talking. Well, he's supposed to be shut up. Right? So-called all men's meeting. I mean, there's a lot I can say about that, brothers and sisters, because they're so stupid over there. They don't even understand what they're doing, saying themselves. He says that the auditorium was filled, right? And he had people over in the overflow in the gym, which I've been there. I was there when that was established. When Elijah Muhammad opened that up, right? And it's this temple that they moved the temple. The first temple was on Greenwood, I believe. And we moved to Stony Island Avenue. I was there when it happened. So I know what size they're talking about. So he says, and it was filled, remember, just inside the auditorium, which is not very big. If you know, on Sundays, they had the men every other seat. Why? And then in the back rows, there's no one. But the women, they sat right next to each other, so it can't be a COVID thing, is it? They're just trying to make you see that people are there. No one's showing up on Sundays. Every other seat, the men's are every other seat to try to look like it's somebody there. In the back rows, no one there. No one's there at all. See, because no one's showing up. They're losing people. They're hemorrhaging people. On top of that, listen to what he's saying. He's saying, Farrakhan came out and the pig was filled, and there was overflow filled in the gym. And he says people from Jamaica and all over the country and everything. Wait, hold it. You had to have people from all over the country, Jamaica, England, and all the states, just to fill up that auditorium and the little gym there. You know, when I was there, that whole place was filled up to overflow with just the believers. So he tells you, we have many believers. There wasn't many believers there. They didn't have many believers because they had to have other people from all over the states and lost towns and everybody, right, from all over the city that was Christians and everything else, just to fill that up. You don't even know what he said, how stupid he is. He said, we can't fill that with our own people. And that's the premier mass. And you go any so-called preachers out there on Sundays, and that place be packed. But Farrakhan's the big leader everybody pays attention to, right? And he got a small temple there, we call a mosque. He can't fill that up. And then he calls these people in, and then he says, oh, well, they filled up, but 90% of people there wasn't even his people. It's like so-called Million March. He didn't call that. He claimed he did. But 99% of people there were Christians. They were still for the preachers. That's why no one showed up in this whole second one. When he took credit for it, they said, okay, we wash our hands. You do it by yourself this time, Farrakhan. They're desperate. They're anything to hold on to anything. So I'm going to speak a little bit about that, right? So let's move on. But let me cover a few things first. But again, remember that. Think about that. He said, well, another thing before now this is a formal affair, right? They announced a formal affair. And everybody came here in suits and ties. Now, if you call a formal affair, and it's formal, so you should be dressed formal for it, right? So how come he shows up in a jumpsuit? You know why he showed him a jumpsuit? Because they dress him. It's easy to put a jumpsuit on him. A single suit, just pull it off, pull it on. Because to put tie and shirt and all that stuff on him is complicated. Then you got to wipe his ass, and then they got to pull that stuff all off. So all they got to do is pull a jumpsuit off. He shows up in a jumpsuit. Everyone else there's got ties. Even lost found ties and suits. It's a formal affair. He shows up in a jumpsuit. Now everybody knows a jumpsuit is something is one piece. And that's what you put on people that you can't dress. Put them in a jumpsuit. And then you said he was holding him under his arms and everything else. Can't even walk. And then when he talks, he's barely mumbling. So you're better not even showing the picture. At least you had people in suspense. But now you just revealed everything I was saying, and you also revealed he's a liar. Because he said, God, he was quiet because God told me quiet. Then why was he talking then? Why? So God said you could talk now? If you could talk now, tell us what's going on in the world, Farrakhan. Tell us what's going on. Well, what can we expect to happen? Not just watch the weather. See, he didn't put himself in a trap. So now he's got to go back and say, oh, well, God told me just speak for that occasion. Right? We've got to admit that God never told him that to begin with. Right? Or he says, I can't speak anymore. I'll just speak for that. Or you got to start explaining what's going on, what's happening now, and you ain't doing that. Because you already admit this is the worst time. That's what your people are admitting. This is the worst time ever. So you should have a light on. Remember that's what stupid Ishmael said last week. Nobody hides their light. So, hey, it's dark right now. So your light's on, Farrakhan. Illuminate us. Bad news, no matter how you cut it. Because they're desperate. Because people ask the questions and they can't answer. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. See here? The suit, anybody see that suit? What you got a bib on for? I'm trying to figure out it's not because it's cold there, because they're not cold. What you got this bib on for? He's slobbing on himself? Or they can't put a shirt on him? Look at that, look like got a dress, he look like a jumpsuit in here. That's what it looks like. And they got an oversized jacket. Unless he's 300 pounds, that side don't fit him. And look at him. How you looking? Like, what's going on? You see? Look at him. Pathetic, but yet he's the Messiah. When y'all gonna get that shit up? I mean, How dumb can you be? Everybody can see. By Charles can see this. You know, goddamn Messiah. Messiah what? Messiah Alzheimer's? Why y'all that goddamn stupid over there? He's a Messiah what? He can't even wipe his own ass. He can't carry himself. They got to carry him, walk him. We don't get it up. Then you claim he's Aaron, but this is what Aaron did. He said, well, just all you got to do is read what Aaron did. I mean, how stupid can you be? And he says, I'm Aaron. Just go read what Aaron did and come back and tell me that he's the Messiah. Aaron didn't make that promised land. And we read Exodus closely, right? He got him and his all followers killed. Moses came to this camp and pulled out those who were seeking the message of the covenant and killed all of Aaron and his followers. And he went to Aaron's camp. All Levites came out. So that means those stayed with Aaron, Farrakhan, they was killed. It was right there. So you say, that's what I'm saying. Those people that's with him, they be worthy of destruction because there's no answer. They can't answer any of these questions. Why were you there? Let's move on. See how they're holding them up. They got a jumpsuit on. A jumpsuit. How you come to a formal affair with a jumpsuit? You got a jumpsuit on. It's one-piece jumpsuit. Because he's incontinent. He's putting the shit in a bag. And it's hard to hide that stuff right now because it's all messed up. So they got this to cover the shit in the piece of shit in the bag he got around his waist. Jumpsuit. If that don't get you, nothing will. Why is he in a jumpsuit on? This is a formal meeting, and he's the host of it. Claim. So why is it? And they're holding him up. Look at him. Got his hand under his arms. But he's the Messiah. Messiah what? It's pathetic. But this is what the challenge is, brother and sister. I'm going to explain this. Okay? The mouth. You talk about Daniel? Daniel said the mouth would make war with the saints. It would come there for 42 years. Who's the saints? The saints would inherit the kingdom. That's somebody NOI. He would make war with them and overcome them. Until the ancient days came and set his ass down. How could you want to talk Daniel? Talk that Daniel. The mouth, big mouth. There's a devil in black skin. And they can't speak to demons. They can't speak to that. Because they talking about, oh, crime. What's the Million Man March supposed to solve that problem? Oh, we're going to go home. We're not going to be niggas no more. What? See, black folks telling the whole world we ain't up a bunch of niggers. What they say in the newspaper, what they say on the news, what they say in the movies, on TV, that's true. We niggas, but we ain't gonna be niggas no more. Because Farrakhan said, we're not gonna be niggas no more. How pathetic is that? You got, I ain't gonna do this no more. That means you was doing it. If you said, I ain't gonna do it no more. I mean, you just a money. He's the accuser. He embarrassed the blackface for the whole world. The image they showing us is true image. Now whether he did it intentionally or not, it's the effect is seen. Because everybody said, yeah, they admit that that's who they are. They admit they're a bunch of niggas. They ain't no good. Thieves and robbers and rapers. But they say ain't gonna do it anymore. Okay, but say he got them to commit. They won't do it anymore. Then why they got a crime problem now then? If he was so successful, and the Million Man March was so successful, then why they talking about, oh, you got a crime problem, we don't have to fix it. They claim the Million Man March was successful. Then why you got a crime problem now? Especially in Farrakhan's throne, You see authority in Chicago, that place is, and it wasn't like that when Elijah Muhammad was around. He had the Black Peak Stolen Range, and they respected the Nation of Islam. There was no bullshit. You could walk the streets and nobody mess with you, especially if you was a Muslim. Minister Yusuf Shah, the minister that Ishmael supposed to spot, he's supposed to have, he was like a general or something in on the north side with the, what they call him, I forgot what they call him, not Latin Kings, I forgot the name of that gang, Lords or something like that, whatever, right? That's a clown there. And they can't speak to demons because demons are the ones causing the problem. It's not us. We're not the criminals. We're not stealing and beating, cheating out of people. That's why I said the separation had to take place between the chaff and the wheat. Once that separation takes place, then they said once that happens, then they should shine as bright as stars of heaven. Why? Because they're the shit that's covering us. Half the soul blacks in America are demons. They're the ones caused the problem, but he can't make that distinction because that Farrakhan's one of them. His father's a devil. They can't speak to that because they have to call him out. They say, well, no. Our people are not doing those things. I've been homeless. I've been all that. And I didn't steal anything from anybody ever. I'm allowing people. I've never hurt anybody. Our people don't do that. It's the demons doing that. They're gangsters. Now, some of our people get pulled in, but that's not them. They're not doing that on their own. The pressure to do it. Our people don't do that. They don't roll like that. See, that's Farrakhan's people. But he can't call out like that because he be calling himself out too. Because the scriptures clearly tell you that this chaff and the wheat was mixed together. And Elijah was told to speak to both of them, teach both of them, not to separate them. It says the Master Covenant would be the one who would have to make that separation, which is about to happen now. And it tells you right there in Mark. It says, my name is Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, NY backwards, and we're many demons. Because Legion's a demon. He's a chief demon. You understand? That's the battle. It says, and you know how you know it's a battle? It's not a perdition, a demon who sat in Elijah's temple seat. That's what said in Thessalonians. So he was sitting in the temple of God. That means not the mosque, not the church, not synagogue, the temple, Elijah's temple, sitting in his seat, claiming he's God. Oh, I'm Jesus. I'm the Christ. And I'm so holy, I can't wipe my ass. I got Ishmael and Wesley. They wipe. See how holy I am. They lick my ass for me. They wipe it. I'm so holy. I can't do it. I got them. They do it for me. I'm so holy. And they love it. And they think it's honey. See, I shit honey. I shit honey. And they love it. I shit honey and piss wine. They love it. They lick my ass all the time, man. They can't wait. You got anything for me today? Mr. Hunter? Got anything for me? Any wine for me today? Hey, man, it's the Galloway, man. It's my turn. Stick. It's stick over there. It's sick over there. He's sick. And I called him out. So now he got it, like I said, you going to stop talking, Farrakhan? He said, God told you not to talk anymore. He's the Messiah? Really? Make war with the saints. Overcome them. I already talked about the mathematics of it. Everyone, brothers and sisters.
you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Again, I got to, what I was saying, brothers and sisters, that's on me. I turned myself off. What I was saying is that these people here, right? They're Farrakhan's ass wipers. They love it. They think that shit is honey. And they believe part of the book and this been the other. And the point I was making, and we make it again, is that there's three parts of scriptures that they do not speak to. You go to Malachi. In Malachi, they talk about Elijah, the messenger, but there's a messenger of the covenant that comes to Elijah's temple that succeeds Elijah. The messenger of the covenant that you should be seeking is that he will come. So God said he will come. So they said, no, Elijah's the last one. So they call God a liar. And they never mentioned the messenger of the covenant. Never mentioned the messenger of the covenant. So right there, they believe in part of the book and disbelieve the other. They're guilty right there. They're guilty of that right there. But let's take it a little further. Remember, the messenger of the covenant. What covenant? You want to know what covenant he's talking about? Well, the covenant is the covenant that God made with Abram as a result of the end of our 400-year servitude, 1619 to 1619 to 2019. Right? That's 400 years, right? Okay. And start right out of the play, right out of the gate. Anyway, they never mentioned the covenant. They said the covenant says, I made a covenant that your seed will return home to Arabia. To Arabia. Between the river Euphrates and the river Egypt, which is Arabia, after the 400 years. But Pharaoh said, we're not going anywhere. So they call God a liar again. And again, they don't even speak to that part. They speak to the part about the 400 years, but don't speak about the covenant. Two things right there. The message of the covenant and the covenant. No mention of it at all. Zero. Being part of the book, and both those are crucial to Elijah Muhammad's message. They claim that they represent. Crucial. I was reading Elijah from 70 to 75. Crucial. Message of the covenant and the covenant. Well, let's take it further. Who is the message of the covenant? Oh, Exodus. Who? Joshua. They hit his name last week. That's it. They don't mention Joshua. Aaron's the last one. They say Elijah the last one. No, the message of the covenant, according to Malachi. Right? We ain't going nowhere but according to Malachi. According to Genesis. No. We're going to return home to Arabia. And then according to Exodus, the message of the covenant is Joshua. The torch is passed from Elijah to Joshua. We bypass Aaron. Aaron who died in the wilderness and got all his family, all his followers killed. Because when he returned, he separated the message, people that were seeking the message of the covenant out, away from Aaron, and invited out Aaron and all his followers. And Joshua. So now we got the message of the covenant, and the identity of the message of the covenant, and those three things they never mention. That shows they guilt. So you call them God a liar? Because God says, because they believe in part of the book and disbelieve the other. Grievous chastisement, most grievous. So you call him God a liar? Because that's what he said. And that's exactly what they do. I just proved it. Tell them I'm lying. And this goes for anybody that's with them. You understand? This curse goes along with anybody that's with them, that's supporting them in any way. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Oh boy, here we go.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flavor as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him,
Dishonor.
Yes, sir.
that's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color.
Yeah.
It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground in unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family. Let's stay a family, be a family, and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. I had to do that. We love you. One more time, brother.
We'll see how much they be laughing in a few more days, brothers and sisters. They don't understand. They don't understand. They will understand. The demons, they will understand. The fire increase, everybody understand. In other words, everybody understands fire. Once you touch them, everybody understands fire. Okay? And so they are making the God, Messenger of the Covenant, the God, extremely angry. So he's saying God is a man, the messengers are men, Messenger of the Covenant is a man, right? Well, you're dealing with human responses, and they're attacking. This is a mortal attack what they're doing, because it says, my people are lost for lack of knowledge. I mean, people being dying because of them. When he talked about that stone, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. He said they will crush anybody up. It says crush. They're going to be crushed. When you crush something, that means that's worse than anything. Breaking somebody, but crushing them, that means you can't think of a greatest. I mean, crush when you. If you understand, I don't know how to explain it, but when you say crush something, that means, man, that's vicious. You crush them, grind them down to nothing. That's what happens. It's the most grievous chastisement, because it says God, okay, if a child, he's mad, angry, right? Would you equate a child's anger with adult's anger? No, you wouldn't. Because a child is angry, they just, right? They might kick a window or break a doll's head or something. And the anger is just dissipated. But an adult, that's a whole different level of anger. So if you're talking about a God, God's anger, what kind of anger are you talking about? That's not anger of Adam. That's not anger of Satan. You get God angry, that's the worst anger you can ever imagine. And they said the wrath of God is going to be on these people. The wrath. It means God's wrath. And anything God's do is more than anything anybody else can do. That's why it says extreme. They will suffer chastisement, the most grievous chastisement. Because they kindle the wrath of God. It says, he tells you, he's going to crush them down, stomp them in the ground. They shouldn't have fucked with us. You mess with God, they said about kings, they said if you smite a king, make sure you kill him. When the king come back, man, he come back and revenge. Damn. Yeah, brothers and sisters. You know, someone said, mess my sound your garage. That was my fault. I turned it off by mistake. I think hope that's what you're talking about. I can't blame it on YouTube. I turned my sound off by mistake. Oh, yeah. Anyway, No one's going to understand this, brothers and sisters, until you see the fire. It says our people will not understand it until the four winds blow the fire. Because no matter how much I say it, I can't get people to understand what's about to happen. That's why Elijah Muhammad told that brother, do not pray for that day, brother, because you have no idea what you're up against. And I can preach, I preached 30-some years, and I'm sure I haven't got no one to understand what's about to happen here. This is unprecedented. I don't think, see, that's one of the problems with this language, because people don't weigh the language, weigh the words. They just take the words, and the words mean whatever how they feel. So if they feel good, then oppression is a feel-good word. If they feel bad, it's bad. But they don't weigh the word in context with other words to find what they really mean. That's the problem with the state of our people. Maybe read the scripture, same thing. They like to listen to Farrakhan. They listen to what he's actually saying. They listen to the emotional context. Oh, everybody else like him. He sounds good. I feel good. They feel bad. I ain't with Farrakhan no more. Because they just have been in a bad mood. They're operating on their feelings, on the emotional state. Our people operate on the emotional state. Emotion is a chemistry lab. You know, you mess around a chemistry lab, your body just damn self up. Because chemicals, they're volatile. You know how they're volatile, right? Anything can happen. You put the wrong chemicals, get an explosion. And it's like with the weather. Like the weather is now. Emotions. And our people operate on an emotional plane. So that's how Farrakhan got one. That's why they keeping Farrakhan hidden, because if they see him as he is, the emotional connection will be cut. But also, he ain't so cute anymore. He don't talk so well anymore. Because that's what he was there to begin with. Not because who he really is or the truth of it. It says it right in Thessalonians. They didn't care about the truth. They didn't care about the truth. So it gave him strong delusions. They don't on Farrakhan because he looks cute. Oh, he talk nice. And once he says Aaron, all you got to go look and see what. Oh. Otherwise, you're gonna say, "Oh, I believe in this part of Aaron." Oh, yeah, part. But then you're guilty of what God said about those being part of the book and this being the other. Right. So if you're gonna believe the book, believe it or leave it alone. Once he tells you his father's devil, that another case closed. That don't bother anybody. Him kissing devils, that don't bother anybody. Because they're on an emotional plane. All you gotta do is say, hey, my family, you know, that's my brother. Because we don't worry about color. It's about your obedience to God. What God are you talking about? Oh, Master, no, not Master Muhammad, because he says they're 100% wicked. He said they cannot be reformed. It's impossible. So they got to be removed from the planet. Well, that's not what Farrakhan said. We got more tape saying. He says, Father Fago is going to be in paradise with him. You want brothers and sisters. Them, like everybody else, the preachers and everything else, is about the Benjamins. Like I used to tell people when I was younger, a long time ago. I'm an old man now, 76 years old. Don't try it. Don't. 76 years old is not a good fit. Believe me. You know, if you avoid it, do it. That's one of my little things I get bugged about. I said, why you pick an old man to do his mission? Well, if I was in my 40s or 50s, maybe, why you pick an old man to do this mission? And see, my mission just beginning. It doesn't really start in full force until you take down Farrakhan and get the NOI together into a seemingly great army. And then that's when the mission kicks in. Because then we have to go full-fledged war. Right now it's a mental war. And that one, well, in some ways that is enough because that's the one I had to battle by myself. You see, but and so to them, it was all about the Benjamins because that's what they did. They ripped the nation off. I was there, Timberline Farrakhan. He took and liquidated all the assets, everything, and left the B's with nothing. And he admits some went crazy, some got sick, some in the back in hospital, some in the back in prison, everything else. And where was you? You had the money and ran. You just stand for the sheep. When you only came back like a buzzard to eat the flesh of what you killed. And now there they are. That's what they did. They didn't return that money back. Everything was lost. And then they built a goddamn thing. They took the money that believers, hardworking believers, some lost their lives, some lost their families. I know one brother, he lost an eye, working at the press. I was there when it happened. These losses, these are significant losses. People did supporting Elijah Muhammad, that program, and these clowns just didn't give a fuck about them at all. Just took the money and left us with nothing. I lost everything: my job, my car, my apartment. All that was Nation of Islam. Everything. Took me a year to recover. That's them. Tell him lying, Farrakhan. That's why he's cursed with a curse, robbing God. Okay, we're going to get to the main subject. Now, I'm going to try to go explain this clearly because I'm trying to get this last 3 days, brothers and sisters. For some reason, they keep distorting it. They don't want you to get this information. And those so-called broadcasts today, all over the place, because they respond to this. They try to tell you, oh, well, you just got to be a fair God. No. Being with me is not going to save you. If you was my follower, being my follower is not going to save you. Only will save you if I'm going to be carried. I'm not going to carry you. I'm here to teach you how to save yourself. If you're going to be a God, then you have to walk in the kingdom on your own. Somebody carrying you ain't no God, are you? You're not getting this message, and you're going to get it in a minute. For some of you, it's going to be too late to get that message. Like Pharaoh, he got the message while he was drowning. That was his last. It's like Noah. Everybody that wasn't on the ark, they got the message. On the way down. And in that regard, think about this. See, they dismiss Noah. But see, the thing is, they could have hedged their bets. They could have built boats. They said, well, man, I'm not sure, but they could build boats too. How come no one even built the boat? They didn't have to be in on his boat. They had to just be in a boat. Think about that. I know you never heard that before, have you? All he had to just be in a boat. And he survived the flood. His own son said, I ain't going to get... Well, I'm going to go to a high mountain. No. If that was the case, they were told Noah, go to high mountains. You're stupid. A lot of people just could have built a boat. They didn't want to get on Noah's boat. They could have built their own boat. They didn't do that. What am I trying to say here? See? Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Now, I'm going to show a couple of things here. See, they need to shut that F up over there. Now, he's going to talk about this statue. See how stupid they are? First of all, he can't speak Daniel, because Daniel is part of the angel. It's sealed too. It tells you right in Daniel it was sealed. So that means if you have not broke the seals, Ishmael, you know the F you're talking about. See, I'm trying to be loud, I'm just in the F. Somebody say, oh, you can't control yourself, man. You say, well, whatever. I'm not because you said anything, right? See? Well, I don't particularly like using the word anyway, but the point is accurate. I don't like saying shit. I don't like smelling shit. But hell, we in the leg of shit, so what you gonna say? If you're in the leg of shit, you don't like smelling shit, you're gonna say, well, pretend it ain't shit. We fucked up over here. That's the right word. What word you want to use? We messed up. Does that really convey the situation we're in? That we say we messed up? What does that mean? We're in bad shape? Does that really explain our condition? What does it mean bad shape? We have right clothes or something? You see what I'm saying? One of the reasons why I don't want to use those words, because those words are accurate of what the situation, they don't want to admit our condition. So they try to soft play our condition like they call it slavery. It's the same category. They don't call it the Holocaust because that would convey because remember, Abraham had a vision of horror. But they don't want to see the vision because that's too close to what we suffered. If they slave meant, oh well, they pick different servants or something. You see? Same thing. So they don't want to use those words because those words actually characterize our situation properly. Because saying we messed up, we're in bad shape, don't get it. We're much worse than that. We fucked up as a people. But we use that, oh yeah, well then tell me a better word to use to explain our condition. Tell me a better word to use to explain our condition. And I'll use it. But I'm not going to say we messed up. We way past messed up. Way past that. Way past bad shape. Way past that. So give me a word. You see here? Now, he's talking about, oh, this statue out of a mountain that had no hands. Mr. Dumbass Ishmael, did you read the statue? Did you read it carefully? Look at it. You notice one thing about it? It has no hands. It said dumbass. It has no hands. Read the description. That's the mountain. The stone was cut out. It was cut out the gold. That's the message of the covenant. And it fell on the feet. It's crushed all the nations. Because remember, the feet represent all the nations and the final configuration of the nation. That's what the feet represent. The final, the end of the world, the last nations, the configuration. That's China, India, Gog and Magog, false Israel. It crushes all of them. It's the remnant of the gold. You see it? That's what Ishmael, dumbass, the boy is totally retarded. They can't find anybody with a lower IQ than him. Well, they did. It was a retarded gorilla. They didn't find a low retarded gorilla. A low IQ than him. That's how stupid that boy is. See, now he gonna talk. He don't know Daniel. He had no idea. I got a whole presentation on explaining it, but I'm just pointing at that stone. It says it's going to crush. Going to crush you. Most greatest chastisement. And we're talking about a few more days. See? Now it's a little uncomfortable for me to talk about this because I'm a little anxious myself. I don't like the fact that I'm the only one knows math from him and knows the actual time. I'm a little uncomfortable with that because I invested my entire life into this. I mean, I went on this path when I was 20 years old. I started on this path and I found Elijah at 21. And I've been on that case ever since. So what's that? You say 20? What's that, 50? 56? 55 years? That's probably older than a lot of you probably listen to this. Total commitment. And then I did when I got the Injil. And I said, man, I deserve at least know the exact time, shouldn't I? I get it. Because if they thought I knew the exact time, it says if the man knew the exact time, he would prevent it. How would he prevent it? That's, how would he do it? That's a question, isn't it? Right? Would he attack our people early? Would he try to attack me? What? So that's part of my protection, the reason I don't know. I don't like it. But I do know the general time. My calculation, time is running out because my calculation is going to be before Christmas. What's before Christmas? Abomination, that's already going on right now. I call that. I got a presentation out there for years back talking about abomination desolation before it even happened. So we're talking about the war resumes. And when they attack us, that being the case, where we at now? We're in the 23rd. 7 more days this month, I think. And that's 4 weeks. The next 4 weeks. Because when it happens, it's going to turn everything upside down. Your world's going to be totally changed. What you're clinging to is going to be destroyed. You don't have nothing to cling to. So then you're going to have to decide whether you want to go home or you want to stay here. That's the best I can do in the time. Okay? Remember the same thing. Jonah had an argument with God because of the time. Because he told Jonah to go ahead and speak to him. And he said, man, you ain't going to do this. I mean, you don't see any place in the scripture, even in the Quran or the Bible, where a messenger and the God got into conflict, was arguing with each other. Jonah goes to argue with the God. Man, what you doing here? And the God put Jonah in prison for 3 years, in the island. So you going to preach this, or you going to preach this, or you can stay on the island. Okay, I'll preach it. Because we're all in submission to the Master. He's the God, period. The Lamb is submission to everybody. Child Shabazz, we're in submission. He's the God. That's where he went. That's where it is. Okay? Even though Daniel tells you that Daniel, right, he didn't worship the God, but he submitted to him. It's the difference. We all need submission, be in submission to the Master Muhammad. Nobody said we had to worship him. That's two different things. Because he says we're his uncle. Right? So Daniel would not worship him. So they threw Daniel in the lions den, and God had no problem with that. He can say, hey, what's happening, bro? Hey, I'm good. Everything's, man, those lions ain't messing with me, man. I'm cool. Okay, brother, I'm going to get you on out of there. It went down like that. Read it. Master Muhammad does not require you to worship him. He requires these devils to worship him. And all else, but not us. We're his family. We respect him. That's why the Master is part of his name. Master. Respect. Respect each other. He respects us. Because he came to get us. He came to get his family. When you go to get my family. We're his family. Not servants. I mean, family can be servants, but they're not the same as like employees, I guess. I guess you put it that away, right? Because we serve each other. I'm my wife's servant. I'm glad to be her servant, boy. And then she went, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. What I can do for you? I'm definitely her servant. I'm the best servant she ever had. And in some ways, I even worship her. I'm going to leave that one alone. Right? These sisters deserve to be worshipped. And they use my worship. These sisters deserve to be worshipped because they caught the worst of it. And we only exist because they suffered the humiliation and torment of these devils. And some without help. So if you want to worship somebody, they should be worshipped. Right? But then again, sisters, you need to, right? I want to say deserving, right, of that worship, right? But you need to be, what's the word I want to use? Right? Well, leave it alone. I'll find the word, proper word. I don't think that's the proper one. Let's move to the next one. And this tekel. See how stupid they are? I got a whole book explaining all this, boss. And I wrote this book back in the 1990s. And all tekel is we said, I'm going to weigh you in the balance. See how dumb they are? It's a weighing. And you got Belshazzar and Belteshazzar. Hold on, so here we go again. What happened there? Okay. You haven't broke the seals. I broke the seal on Daniel. So I know what I'm talking about. If you're much talking about, you should be talking because you're going to pay the price for talking. See? Tekel. I'm going to myself out the way here. See here? Yeah, Belteshazzar and Belshazzar. Now, Belshazzar represents Africa. Esau. Right? Esau and Jacob, they were twin brothers. Esau lived in what you call Africa. Jacob lived in what you call Arabia, which is really Africa too. It's just North Africa, if you put it that away. But Africa is a name. That's not a name we gave it. That's a name that the Italians gave it. Because he had an Italian general named Africanus. And so when he went to Africa, they named it like America, right? America Vespucius. So that's not the name they gave it. Anyway, if you go with that name, because Arabia actually is part of the same continent, right? So, twin brothers. So it says that Esau, there was a controversy between Esau and Jacob. Esau was the older brother. He thought he gets inheritance. And if you read the story in Daniel, other brother Ishmael forced out of Arabia into what you call Africa under the rule of Belshazzar. Under the rule of Belshazzar. Esau, that's how we end up in Africa. Was forced out by Ishmael, who right now occupies our land. See, we had two older brothers. Esau was our twin brother. Ishmael was our half brother because by another Ishmael's maid. And both my older brothers, and they both thought they should get the inheritance. But the inheritance went to Jacob, the younger brother, and both of them got angry about that. Both angry about that. So Ishmael kicks out of Arabia, took, right, forced, ended up putting in betrayed in slavery, and that's how we end up in what you call Africa. And we end up under Belshazzar's rule. And he reduced us as servants. Right? So that's what it says. So it says they was weighing the balance because Belteshazzar, that was Daniel's name, and Belshazzar was Esau's name. And the difference was E-L-T-E and E-L. That's what it says. You weighed in the balance and you found wanting. Right? So that Africa fell under Adam's rule. But we went into the Holocaust. True, that's true. But that's what it's talking about. Because we weigh more than that. That's why it says weighed in the balance, tekel. See? T-E as opposed to E-L. We got a T. All they got is E-L. That's what it's talking about. But he doesn't know that. It's more to it than that, bro. Says I'm going to leave it there. Okay, let's go through this, brothers and sisters. Now, what I want to talk about here is the art of war. Now, I'm going to give you a pattern that you can double check yourself. See, you're not getting. See, they tell you, oh, nobody talks about the women that are equal. Nobody on the planet. But Pharaoh, that's a lie. I've been talking about for years. I got the presentation out there. That I'm the only one that shows that the male and female are equal, and I get the mathematics behind it. They're desperate. And they stole a lot of. They stole a lot of points. They try to hijack my ministry. And try to, they got Farrakhan. See, you know, well, they can do whatever they want to do. See? But who the Lord will consume and spill his mouth and destroy? He's being consumed and he's about to be destroyed. See? Let's look at this pattern first. See? You see here, this goes back to 1820s before. Now, I don't want to go into detail, sisters, but I try to explain to you. Right? The universe contracts and expands. You can't create energy, you can't destroy it. So that means if it expands, that means all the energy that used to be here, as the Quran tells you, heaven and earth were one, it's out there now. So that means there's less energy here. But you need energy for everything. You need energy to think, go to the bathroom, to blink your eye, right? To talk, to sleep, anything. Any activity requires energy. And that's how small the activity is. So therefore, we get lost ability to even control ourselves, control our nation, anything. That's how we end up in a situation. And now the universe is contracting, and now we start being energized. So we start getting in control. But while we was down to nothing, we produce a being. The head energy didn't require as much energy as we did. That's the devils. With Adam, Caucasians. It requires much energy because they're stripped down version of us. So therefore, energy times discipline equals power. So we had no energy, excess energy, so we had no power because we had no, it's excess energy. In other words, beyond energy, you need to maintain yourself. You have to use that to maintain yourself, keep you alive. And the energy beyond that energy, say external energy times discipline equals power. We had no external energy, but we made him require less energy, so he had external energy, so he had power. And so therefore he could rule, right? He had a little bit of power, not a lot, but it was enough to rule people who had no power. So they was able to rule. That's why Adam was chosen. No, he was wicked, making him shed blood, but he had power to rule. For 6,000 years, off and on, basically, because his discipline was weak. But now re-energized, it's harder to maintain that power for us. Because now we have natural discipline, which they try to avoid us, keep us away from it, because they don't teach you discipline. They don't teach us discipline. They don't teach us the art of war. That's what they don't teach us that, but you don't understand that. You understand in a minute, hopefully. They don't teach us discipline. They teach us obedience. Oh, but let it hang out. Don't fast. Pray fast. What you fast for? What you praying for? I'm not talking about that kind of prayer. Man, hang out, man. Fornicate, man. Get high. Let's go watch a game. There's no discipline at all. And that's where they want us. Because therefore, if we have discipline by nature, but it's like you have bigger muscles, greater muscle potential than a female, but if you don't use it, and she does, so she'll be stronger than you. So they don't teach us to take and augment our energy, our discipline. So it get weaker and weaker and weaker because we don't exercise it. If you don't exercise your muscles, they atrophy. So our discipline, so it means we're powerless. See, the Farrakhan blaming that on us. That's what the devil's program to keep us from understanding anything about power. So therefore, they control us. But now we're getting energy, but we're not practicing discipline to turn into power. Farrakhan is not teaching you discipline. Elijah Muhammad started teaching you discipline, and that's how we start becoming powerful. And that's why he had to get rid of Elijah Muhammad, because black folks were rising, getting stronger, and they feared the nation of Islam. They feared Elijah Muhammad. They don't fear Farrakhan. And the nation of Islam has no power, because he's teaching Scientology, obedience, or just depend on Farrakhan. Teach you discipline. And it's my job to not only teach you discipline, but give you the means of how to maximize your discipline, how to control your discipline. And not just tell you about the gym, but actually give you the gym. That's the 5 pillars. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. So the point is, as we get, that means that's harder for them to control us, because remember, they have low discipline. They get more energy as we get more energy also, but they're disciplined. And it's harder and harder, so they're going to try harder. They're going to be more violent in their attempt to control us. They want to maintain control of us. It's harder and harder and harder. That's why America's becoming so violent and so intimidating, especially towards us, because they're trying to keep us under control and getting harder and harder and harder. Let me show you that. Right? So here we go right here. And let me do it this way. Nope. You see, this is like 1820s. We was at that lower state. Versus no energy. So we had house niggas and fields niggas. That's what we were. So we was at the lower state, totally energy deprivation, maximum state. Right? Okay. And then we first got our first energy burst. The Quran says momentous in heaven and earth, but it comes of a sudden. That means we get a wave of energy from every 50 years, and it's absorbed by the earth. Earth is Mother Earth, and it converts into a form we can use: water, food, whatever. But that's why it says momentous in heavens and earth, but it comes of a sudden. So here's 18. So here we go. First time we get energy burst, 1860s. Right? Oh, the book I changed then. Civil War. There was violence. The violence in the Civil War was not to free us, but since that's a lie they're telling you, it was actually to keep us under control. But we entered the industrial age, and they wanted to control us in the industrial age. See, so we broke our chains, but they didn't tell. I'm not going into detail about that, brothers and sisters. I'm just going to explain to you, and generally. But then the blues started. Well, we had the blues. We know what to do. What's blues? That's the atmosphere. That's music. Music is the atmosphere. It's manipulating the atmosphere. That's what music is. Sound. Right? So that means we control the atmosphere, because that music ran around the world. That's how powerful we are. We just don't know it yet, because we still got their mind. It was manipulating the atmosphere. What's also manipulation of the atmosphere? Weather. It's currents. Music's also currents. And once we come fully conscious of who we are and got our right mind, right? We control the hurricanes, right? And tornadoes, because the atmosphere reflects our mood. So you have those things now because our mood is affecting all these atmospheric conditions that's coming from us. We just don't control it now. We just don't say, remember, it says the man was beating himself. He had power, but he was beating himself with it because he didn't have his right mind yet. So why is all these atmosphere, and when you look around, almost all of it is happening in the devil's neighborhoods. You control the weather, brothers and sisters, and the lessons tell you that. The lessons tell you that. You control. You just don't. It's like, you're driving the car blind. You see. So that's what happens. You're controlling the weather, but you're blind. You don't know you're doing it. It's a reflection of your attitude. That's why the weather's going to be off the chart in a minute. Once this war resumes, this weather's going to go off the chart because your emotions are going to be on high alert. But you have discipline to control it. And that's going to be one of your weapons during the tribulation. You don't need guns and missiles. That's going to be one of your weapons, the weather. That's why Elijah Muhammad said the weather will be the weapon of God. It's about you. The lessons tell you that. That's going to be one of your weapons. They come at you, or you can be united. That means all you're thinking on the same. Right now, everybody's all over the place. So you got storm here, a tornado there, whatever. What happens when we have hearts and we're all thinking on the same plane, same wavelength, same frequency? Bam. We just think of a hurricane happen. That was the weapon. Elijah Muhammad told you that'll be our weapon, weather. The control is, like I said, is coming from our emotions because music is an example. Music is weather. It's a form of weather. It's controlling the atmosphere. And so it's affecting people. Your music affecting people. If they're happy, you can make them sad. If they're sad, you can make them happy. Your music is doing that. But you don't understand how powerful you are. Because they want you to know how powerful you can. Well, yeah, that's a form of power there. But what happens when you turn your discipline on 100%? Damn! I'm trying to get you to understand what's about to happen to your brothers and sisters. You can't imagine it. You're controlling the weather right now. You're just doing it blindly, emotionally. You don't know that you're doing it. And music is right there. Our music is the most dominant music on the planet. And music is weather. It's controlling the atmosphere. Anyway, so at that point in time, right? At that point in time, we broke our chains, as it said in Mark, and we had the blues because that was our emotional state at that time. We didn't know what to do. And we stopped calling ourselves Negroes. And then we had dichotomy, because we had a diverse. See, when we was in the fields, we had two types. We had house niggers and field niggers. Well, who was the house niggers? House niggers was the masters raped children. They was called black Caucasians. He wouldn't allow us to work in the house, because he knew we might kill him. He had his own sons and daughters. Look at Django. That guy in there, he was most likely DiCaprio's brother. Probably the same father. He didn't see himself as black. He saw himself as being one of them. So we had two types of people. They call all of us black, but we're two types of people. And that's the problem, because we mixed in together. The chaff is mixed in with the wheat. It tells you there, we were mixed in. It says, somebody said, enemy sowed chaff, right, amongst the wheat. It says the enemy did that. It said, well, let them go up together. It said when you mixed in with the enemy that looks like us, but they're the enemy. It says it right there. So we mixed in, enemy mixed in with us. We said, let them go together. They'll be separated at harvest time. You understand, brothers and sisters? It tells you right there. But Farrakhan, he can't admit it because he's part of the chaff. Right? So here, so now remember, you got two different natures. So people respond to their nature. So how do they respond to breaking the chains? Okay, well, one want to get close to the master because now I want to stay with you, master. I was a house nigga before. Now I'll stay with you. I want to sharecrop. I still want to stay with you. See what I'm saying? I'm saying I want to get the hell away from you. He ran to cities. That's what you had. Right? The demons, half devil, half man, and the saints. So he has a vision because two different natures. He had to divide back there. Right? That's AD 6. Then 50 years later. So what happened add 50 years to that, so what you get. Oh, 1920s, jazz. And now, because your emotional state changed, and now you're becoming aware of who, because remember, back then, you didn't know you was African, you didn't know anything about yourself. But now you become aware. Start becoming conscious of who you are, whatever. And so you got two different paths again. The original people, Afrocentric, start thinking about, we know anything about Africa, because they got Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, right? And then you got the Eurocentric, the boys. Oh no, we need more like white people. Act like them, think like them. See? Two different, because they appeal to two different natures. And so those that follow this one, in ACP, started during that time, and those, right? And jazz. Start feeling jazzy. Start becoming aware of ourselves. Oh, we're African. You see? Is that a coincidence? That's when jazz came out, about 50 years later. And then we start calling ourselves not Negroes and more colors. In ACP, National Organization, color people, whatever. See, two different paths. We separated because two different natures. So we get further and further from each other. Each one of these was accompanied by violence, but I'm not going out with civil war and things they call the red riots or whatever. But anyway, I'm not going into that right now. I'm just showing you the different paths. Because we're two different people. But they said we was the same, all black. But you saw you see this diversion here. Let's look, okay, let's go to the next one. 50 years later. Oh, 50 years later again, 1960s. 1860s, 1960s, 100, that's 52 feet. Multi got new sound. Oh, so new sound comes in. And we don't call ourselves colors anymore. We're blacks, Afro-Americans. See? We're blacks, but these call themselves Afro-Americans. See? The demons, we're Afro-Americans. Same, we're blacks. You see? New sound. See? And led by two personalities. Martin Luther King, integration. See? Go back here. Oh, go back here. Now in this case right here, they want to be more like Europeans. They want, and back there, right? One want to stay on the farm, one want to get the hell out of here. So now you got more separation. Now we're integration. Now we're separation. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? Huh? Oh, we blacks and we Afro-Americans. Okay? And we get the division is even greater. And there was the resistance also. See? And he's represented too. So now, what about 50 years later? Oh, that's where we are right now. He's still going the same path. But now, the separation is clear now. We're so divided that we actually know, at least Mr. Cummings explained it, he's still talking about we still all one people. All blacks. No. Because it's two. He explained it. No, these are demons. And this is the real Israel here. These are demons over here. He explained this. He's still trying to be like we're all one. Even though he's taking advantage of the other ones over here. See what I'm saying? 2020s. And so a new music should come in this here. Music of victory. At this point, remember, they would lose control over us. So now they lose total control. We break out of here. See? Everybody's steady to lose control over us. Okay? So now if they lose total control, that's what's about to happen now. And these, remember, integration, now they want to take control of America. We want to get the hell out of America. They want to control America. So they're going to go to war. That's the demon, that's the locust war in Revelation. They're going to go to war, try to take America. And we're fighting to get the hell out of here. That's where we are right now. This true Israel, that's the demons. That's where we are right now, brothers and sisters. So now ask yourself, what would be the remember? Now we knew that we go in the integration. So let's look back. Let's look back at this for a minute. You might ask yourself, well, right, what would be the message of this person during this period of time? What would be his message? Say, well, he'd be somebody be saying, let's get closer to the white people. Let's move in with them. Let's live next door to them. Let's have equality with them. That would be a message of a person on this plane, right? And wasn't that Martin Luther King's message? And what was the message of a person separation? Man, those people are devils over there. We want to get the hell out of here. You'd be a fool, want to stay here. Wouldn't it be a message of the person that represents this side? Wasn't that Elijah Muhammad's message? So let's look at the message of the next level. So what his message be? Oh, no, I want to stay here. I like it here. Oh, we want to take America. America belongs to us. Isn't that what his message would be? What would his message be? Hey, we're going home, man. Get the hell out of here. We're going back to Arabia. We don't have nothing to do with these devils over here. They ain't no good. Oh, nothing wrong with devils. There's something wrong with them over there. They don't agree with us. Something wrong with them over there. See, he'd be against these over here. And he would be against these over here. Man, we don't mess with them demons over there. So they'd be against each other. So there'd be a fight between each other. Because these would hate these and these would hate these. He would hate the demons and he would hate the saints. Isn't that what you expect? Let's take a look. See what we get.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Waterford and I have had disagreement. But his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't you go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
See things about America? You want to stay here. That's what that person would represent. You want to stay here? You want to integrate into America? Be more like, stay here, like it. You want to say nothing happened to it? How do you feel about America? And how do you feel about the saints? Let's see how you feel about the saints now.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you is hell now on both sides. Yes, sir, brother. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, both sides. When we were alive, we set up schools. That's right. When we were alive, we had supermarkets. We owned buildings. We owned farmlands. We were busy doing something, hiring our people.
Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on the earth, let the worms eat their ass. That clear enough, brothers and sisters? That clear enough? You have love for the devils. And that so-called lying dog Ishmael said today. Got love for, forgive them. The devil's everything. But have no love or passion for your own brothers. Isn't that we just witnessed? What's going to happen to America? I love America. No matter how all shit America done to us, I love America. What's going to happen to it? I want to stay here. But then when it comes to people, saints, putting steaks on his table, putting $10,000 suits on his back, expensive cars, I'll beat your ass. I'll pray out loud. I'll beat your ass. Say less. I just told you, isn't that what you expect the person attitude they would have if they were demons? That's his own words. Let's go a little further here. Now here's what would you think this person's attitude would be? That person would be saying, see what I got here. Okay. Be saying something like, hold on. Oh. You're saying like, calling out them, he hates them like they hate us. You're calling out Farrakhan a demon, Farrakhan's a devil, no damn good. And he have nothing but good things to say. He'll be accusing our people. Our people are diamonds. The diamonds, gold, and silver. Best people on the planet Earth. And we want to get the hell out of here. We want to go home. We don't want no part of this. We want to get the hell out of here. Return back to Arabia. Mess of the covenant. Own nation. We're in parts. See, that's a whole different. You see? And that's exactly what the mess of the covenant is saying. So, does that make sense to you? Does that fit? Is that wrong characterization? You don't believe that timetable there? Because that's exactly the timetable we've been on. And now we're at the point of the 50-year mark. That means, and each one of those happens suddenly. It's momentous in the heavens and earth, come all of a sudden. Motown came out of nowhere, jazz came out of nowhere, all of a sudden. So, and each was coming by an attack, a direct attack. They're going to attack us. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Need any more? Let's see what I got here, brothers and sisters. Is that clear enough for you? Okay, see this here? This is our state. It's like this white ones that got crosses in it. Those are demons. We mix together, so therefore we don't have any power because we're mixing together, and nobody's teaching us discipline. They teach you obedience, not discipline. Christianity is all about obedience, not discipline. Especially Catholicism, because Catholicism had no discipline whatsoever. That's why they lost power for 1,000 years. Because they became, let's say, church said, you don't have discipline, just believe in Jesus. So they lost power until they broke away from the church and went to the Old Testament, to the law, and all of a sudden Adam became powerful. Powerful for 500 years. But we got us all mixed up, so that renders both of us powerless. But we're fighting each other because we're two different people. So this is what Solomon has to do. His job to separate the two. And then we become powerful. See the great army, unified, the Hajj. And they become a powerful army too. not as powerful as us, but they're going to take, and they're going to try to take America, and they will succeed. They will take America. But they're pure victory, because once they take it, they're going to lose it. Let's see what else I got here, brothers and sisters. And then I'm going to go. Okay. See here. Now, out of war. Now, if you understand this, first of all, war depends on, right? I mean, it depends on whose side. If you got ants, they have a certain way of war, right? Fish have a certain way of war. They go to war. You got to depend on the system, what kind of war you're talking about. Right? Because it's depending on the system, the nature of the war. So, the concept of war depends on how you understand the environment you're in. Right? So, if you're in the winter and there's nothing but snow, the war might mean throwing snowballs, throwing ice, freezing stuff. But the point is, Elijah Muhammad said the devil did not teach us the art of war. And he didn't go into explanation, but I'm going to explain it to you. I don't know if that's what he meant when I'm going to explain it. But you need to understand the nature of how things work. We live in a pressure system. The system is, our reality is pressure, period. It's the mathematics of pressure. Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is Islam. And once you understand that, then everything falls into place. Because if we're in a pressure system, higher pressure overcomes lower pressure. Credit currents are pressure. The current is higher pressure being resolved against low pressure. Higher pressure is expanding. When you have high pressure and lower pressure, high pressure expands until it becomes to the level of the lower pressure, then there's no current anymore, if that's the case. You understand? So it's high pressure, low pressure, high power, low power. High power is high pressure, is greater than low power, low pressure. Low pressure cannot overcome high pressure. It's impossible. Low power can overcome high power. It's impossible unless you can trick it to lower its power. You understand basic principle, right? Then you understand what the art of war is. See, they don't understand art of war that way. That's why David was told, do not look at numbers, because that's what they look at. They look at, oh, who got the most guns? Who got the most warriors? That's not the way, because that doesn't work in a pressure environment. That's what they think. They two-dimensional people, they think that way. And so they say, well, if I got, so I don't know why it was waste time fight anyway. If I show up with 1,000 men, you show up 10,000 men, I should just give up. The Quran said, no, you don't do that. It says is what 100 committed to overcome 1,000? What should I tell you? Because when they send a messenger or a prophet, they send one person. Why would they send one person against a whole, based on numbers? One person, because it doesn't, it's one person. If they got high pressure, then when they high pressure, the system they send them to, they don't overcome it. It's impossible. They cannot stop it. If you put high pressure, you take a canister with high pressure in it, a bottle, anything, you throw it in the ocean, right? And you break the container, it's going to force the ocean to spread. Because it's high pressure, the whole ocean could be 2 trillion tons and still move it. I don't care if it's only 1 pound of pressure, but it's higher pressure, then it's going to move it. There's nothing they can do about it. Even though it's only 1 gallon, but it's higher pressure, so it's going to force others to spread out. That's you see the waves going out. Because high pressure overcome lower pressure. It doesn't matter how much it is. If it's high pressure, if it's only an ounce, whatever, it's going to overcome lower pressure. I don't care how much lower pressure is. Lower pressure be the side of the earth. Higher pressure will overcome it. That's just laws of mathematics. So it has nothing to do with numbers. But they think it does because they think two-dimensional. So they think, so America didn't do well against Vietnam, did it? It did well against Afghan, all those numbers, because it's not based on that. It's based on pressure. And that's why you send one person, Prophet Muhammad, he comes in, he uneducated, he took over Arabia. Elijah Muhammad told these devils for some years and didn't defeat them, but they didn't defeat him either. He made advances. He knocked out a lot of devils. So forth, so on. That's the way it works. You send one high pressure person. And so it says, Suleiman, he was very high pressure, because he had so much he would be able to break the seals. He had to have a certain amount of pressure to break those seals. And he was the only one that was able to achieve that amount of pressure. The devils weren't able to do it. They have the mental pressure to do it. But it shows he's higher pressure because he was able to break those seals, and shows he had higher pressure than them because they weren't able to do it. So his pressure is higher than theirs. Let's see what's going on here, brothers and sisters. I'm about to close out in a minute. Again? Oh, that was my fault that time. I think that was my fault. Okay. Understand? If you do understand. That's why I told Joshua, it says, if you keep the law, I said, law is discipline. But they had a lower level. Like you go to the gym, you go to some gym, and you can go to the gym and, hey, they have weights up to 100 pounds. Another gym got weights 200 pounds. So if you want to go to, the whole level, you got to go to the 500-pound gym. Depends on what, right. So I'm saying they was given enough law that can handle the level of discipline. Like a woman, right? She has less strength than a man naturally. So some gyms she couldn't go to if she wanted to. 1,000 pounds, she probably could never get there. I don't care how much she tried. Because, she had she can be strong, but her potential for strength is limited. See? So they was given discipline up to a level they can handle. And still, they had to keep being recharged all the time because they kept falling back. That's the devils. See? The angel rises you to a high level of discipline, plus it gives you the tools, right, to maximize your discipline. That's the 5 pillars. It's all about discipline. See? That's the art of war. The art of war is, if you understand pressure is the nature of the system, then discipline is your weapon. That's a source of your weapon. Because the more discipline you got, the more power you're going to have. The more power you have, that's your weapon. And that manifests itself in the weather, in music, and I mentioned it a while back. That's one of the things they're going to use against you. They're going to use music against you. Music is a weapon. Because you can change the way people feel. And they've been studying that. They've been studying you 40 years. And they've been studying blacks particularly. They did that with COVID too. The problem they had with COVID is they tested on demons. They tripped their own self up. Because demons had the same physiology as they do. That's why it was killing devils. It wasn't killing us. They tested on demons, and it worked. It's going to kill black folks, right? It did. Demons. And it also killed a lot of white folks too. But it didn't affect black Africa. It didn't affect Haiti. It didn't affect real black people. Now go check it out. Take my word for it. Check the World Health Organization. They're telling the wrong people. That backfired. But they've been testing, experimenting with music. And they're actually doing it now, because a lot of the music you get right now, it's got some of that stuff in it. To see your reaction. How you react to Minnie Minaj, whatever her name is, and all these different people, how you react to them. See, because they're testing you. See how you react. Because what they want to do is they want to find a music that will have you, and they have found it. That's the weapon they're going to use against you. Fear. Because some music will make you afraid. What wavelength, what frequency they need the music to increase fear in you. Because that's the main thing on the battlefield, fear. See, if you go on the battlefield, you're afraid you're going to lose. Okay? So if they know they're going to war, they're going to attack us. They know it's going to be a war. There's a race war here. And if they can blast music that affects you by making you afraid, they blast it out. You'll be afraid, you won't fight, you run. That's a weapon. I told you in advance. You're going to experience that because I've already done it. That's one of the weapons I have against you. Use music to put fear in you. If there's no music on, all of a sudden you don't know why you're so afraid. You're so paranoid, you're afraid. You're paranoid and afraid and scared. And you ain't going to fight. See, there's a protection against that, but that's what there's no weapon they build will prosper against you, because once you understand, right, the 5 pillars and how to apply that, that won't work. See? Because if your heart is firm enough, your heart is connected. Fear is connected to your heart. If your heart is firm, they got to get your heart afraid, heart beating real fast. If they can't do that, the fear won't work. You hear it, but it won't affect you emotionally. That's where you feel the fear at, mostly in your heart. If you got a firm heart, it won't work. But those who don't have a firm heart, they're going to be scared to death. They're going to run to their death. That's just one of the weapons I told you about, no one told you about. They have a weapon. They have weapons already. You say, that weapon's already there. They already tested it. See? It's already some of the music you have right now. You don't notice it because they had to test it. It's like drugs. You think it's called crack? No, they had to test it. They start putting some drugs together, put it on the street, and see who comes back. If you come back for more, that means it must be good. If you don't come back, it makes a kill you, so they can't use that one. How do you think they cover that? You think they're going to make some crack? No, they had to experiment it. They had to put, let's try this out in the neighborhood. See who comes back. You come back, you don't come back, that means it must have killed you. We're no good. You come back, so you refine it. Anyway, that's another story. I told you they got all kinds of traps for you, brothers and sisters, that you're not hearing from Farrakhan and these people because they on board with them. Anyway, that's the art of war. You apply 5 pillars, and nothing they can do to harm you, because you higher pressure, because now you got the tools, right, the equipment, like the going to exercise machines, right? You got to discipline. Energy management, that's what discipline is, energy management. So that teaches you how to manage your energy to the maximum. So that's why you can say, no hair on your head will be harmed. So no weapon formed against you will prosper. Because all those things are based on lower level pressure. Even the music will be lower level pressure. Your pressure will be higher, so it won't affect you. No hearing. That's Farrakhan. See, he's teaching that obedience stuff. Oh, just listen to Farrakhan. Yeah. Farrakhan can't listen to himself right now. That's what you're up against, brother and sister, and that's your defense. If you wait till last minute, it might be too late. You gonna wait? You wait till night to fight to go to the gym? You ain't gonna get to the fight because you gonna get knocked out. You gonna be torn in the gym. If I was you, I'd be starved right now. I got presentations explaining all the details, but those 5 things makes a lot. That's not praying anybody. We don't pray anybody. Oh, if Quran says prayer, because you don't understand what they're talking about. They also say reciting the Quran at dawn is prayer. Don't they say that? So how can recite? That means you ain't praying anybody. You reciting the Quran. Who are you praying to? He says considered prayer. Okay? That's what Master Muhammad, he didn't pray anybody. He recited history 6-8 hours a night. See? He had a firm heart. He didn't have to sleep. He applies 5 pillars. That's the tools to maximize your pressure. Those tools are always with us. I'm telling you the essence of it. You start applying them. I tell people, I was talking to my wife this morning, I was explaining to her who was walking, right? I was telling her, when you're in prison, it says Suleiman will release the prisoners. They're going to be released. Because when this happens, let me move on. I don't get too detailed here. When you're in prison, it's not the bars that's holding you in prison. It's the person that got the key to the bars that's holding you in prison. And they have a certain mentality. If your mentality pressure is greater than theirs, then you can overcome them. They're going to have to let you out of there. The people in prison, they keep themselves in prison. They lock themselves in prison because they don't know, because they're out there, and you get in prison and you're worse off than you're out here. You're busting each other in the butt and all the stuff you're doing. You have no discipline at all. So now you're locked in there. If you apply discipline, lower pressure cannot contain higher pressure. If you're high pressure, if you're surrounded by high pressure, it's going to crush you. And so being in prison, that's being crushed. It means you're being controlled. If it's strong enough to crush you out of existence, kill you. So you're in a state of being crushed. You're homeless, you're in a state of being crushed. All these things are different states of being crushed. They start crushing out of existence. But once you press greater than this, you start crushing them, and they can't contain you. It's simple as that. If you don't believe me, if you're in prison, I don't care if you're in prison for life, 10 life sentence, apply that. Apply it. Go out and start it fasting. Do a month fast. I did a month fast, and they were giving me out a whole month. Beat their ass, and they couldn't figure it out. Do that. Apply that. I guarantee you, you'll be out of there. Man, it's bad conviction, man, or we think you should have it second, whatever. The mind's going to change in your direction. Right now, their mind's against you, and your mind's against you too. They don't want you to learn discipline because they cannot control you once you gain discipline. And that's the 5 mechanisms, tools to maximize your discipline. Wife could tell you, anybody tell you, they can't control me. They've been trying, they can't control me. I don't worry about a goddamn thing anywhere. Look, I'm scared now. Let them bite my mouth, bite my tongue here. Are these devils? The Farrakhan. Art of war. That's the art of war. Get discipline. Then you increase your power. Then you can need the angel. So you have your mind back so you know how to focus that power. Having power is like having a big, powerful engine and Lamborghini, no steering wheel. Your angel, how to focus that power. How you know who your enemy is. That's why the man was beating himself. He had power, but he didn't know where his enemy was. So he's beating himself. Why have you beating yourself? Are you the problem? You're guilty. You're sinful. You have us beating ourselves. He said, we're the problem, not the devils who put us in this condition. He's on their side. So you need the angel to get you right. That's why the man came to Jesus or Joshua based on his nature, not his mind. Because remember, he was beating himself up, but he recognized it based on his nature. Oh, that must be him. That's what I'm seeking. Then he went and got his mind back. Then, oh, wow. He gave him his mind, but he gave him the angel. So he had to need both. And man, he broke his bounds. He started having power. He just didn't know how to direct it. And Falcon said, oh, it's you get direct on yourself. Scientology, your mind, all this stuff. Bullshit. So the angel gives your mind, tell you who your enemy is, how to focus that power that you're going to have in a minute. But you're going to have it. Because they're going to take this whole world. It's going to be come crash down, and you won't depend on the devil anymore. So you're going to have to, you will have, yes, if you don't, then you get crushed. Then you're going to seek this message to come and get your discipline Then become a seed of the great army. Because Hajj is part of it. That's the 5 pillars. That's the source of your wealth, your power. Remember, that's what Josh was told. Just obey Allah. He didn't say obey Jesus. He said obey God. He said, you obey that law. And you'll be powerful. And no one will be able to stand before you. All the days of your life, you'll be successful. Whatever you do. You say, obey God. You say, obey Master Muhammad. You say, obey Jesus. You say, obey the law. 5 pillars. Now, but you don't want to be, you want to get in a fight with God now, do you? Because he got a little more discipline than you. So remember, you might have power, but you know, you might be what they call the thing against the whole. I don't know how to work out, right? You're so you want to mess around there, so you want to be in sync with the God, and not a opposition to him. But you will have power if you apply that. Guaranteed. What you got to lose? You don't have to give me any money for this. Increase your power. That's the art of war. Okay? And then you start realizing how you affect the atmosphere. Make own the cream of planet of God universe. You control the weather. The lessons tell you that. You just don't know it. Once you get your mind back, and you got Hajj, you apply those 5 pillars, you reach Hajj, all of a sudden you're thinking you're in the same wavelength, right? Same frequency. You want a hurricane, they come at you because you got to go to you're gonna have to go to tribulation. And tribulation is their resistance to you being born. That's what tribulation is. That's resistance to you. And I told you, resistance means you're growing. They tell us, oh, if you resist something, you better stop, man. You immediately alone. No, resistance is growth. If you're in an elevator and it's packed, and you start trying to get some more room, you're gonna get resistance. Why? Because you're taking up more room. Resistance is evidence of growth. There's no resistance in the graveyard because everybody's dead. So don't be afraid of resistance, because when I see resistance, all the resistance I'm going through right now, that shows I'm winning. All the resistance over there, so-called Nation of Islam, they lying and twisting and turning my teachings around and taking credit for something doing. I know they're reacting. It means they're in trouble. Otherwise, they wouldn't be reacting. They're afraid. They're fear. Resistance means growth. It's like in school they tell you, they tell us, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expect this result. Oh, so he said, oh man, I should stop doing that, man. Why I keep doing the same thing? I ain't getting the result I want. But then what they tell their children, at first you don't succeed, try again. Just the opposite. So you give up as soon as you meet some opposition. When I see opposition, that shows that's where I need to go. When I see opposition, I know, oh, I'm ready. That's the way the war is. If I ain't getting opposition, that means I ain't growing. I'm going in a way nobody cares about. I said, oh, that turned me on. Man, oh, now I need to push hard in that direction. And so tribulation is going to be the maximum resistance. Why? Because you're becoming the gods. You're becoming the most powerful people on the planet. That's why tribulation is so powerful. Because resistance is going to be the maximum. Because you can become maximum power. Did you see it like that? It's not a chastisement. It's for you to realize that you're gods. That's why you resist, because the world's going to resist. Remember said that they stood by to devour the child as soon as born? Tribulation is your resistance to your growth, becoming gods and goddesses. Maximum. So that means if it was just a little resistance, that means you're going to become lose something. No. You're going to be going to tribulation because you're maximum resistance, because you become maximum power. If there's no tribulation for you, that means you ain't growing. Holocaust, the same thing. Resist our even existing. Because we just gave up and died like some did, there wouldn't be no Holocaust with it. So we went to Holocaust because our resistance, they resist to us even being alive. So if we wanted to stop Holocaust, we just kill ourselves. So you got to start thinking these things properly, brothers and sisters. See? So we see resistance, that means that's good. It shows you're growing. So you resist me. How do you stop doing that? Okay, well, you don't go then. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's the art of war. They teach you obedience. Christianity doesn't teach you art of war. It teaches you art of obedience. Obey master. It tells the females obey your husband. They teach you all. But they don't want you to know, that's why Elijah Muhammad, I don't know if he meant that, what he meant. He just said they won't teach you the art of war. So is that what he meant? He didn't explain it, at least not to me. I'm just assuming he meant that because that's what it is. And they definitely will not teach us that. So they find every time we learn something, we're better at it than they are. They kept us out of golf. Boom, no, now. Kept us out of baseball. Yeah, everything they kept us out of, once we got in the door, we beat them at it. See? And if it comes to power, national, global power, and our nation against theirs, they don't want us to have any power. Our nation has been against theirs for 500 years. Then a fight between our nation and their nation for 500 years, and they've been winning because they've been teaching us not to have any power. And some of you go, oh man, let's party, man, let's go see the NFL. See? Let's go get some hotties and stuff. There's been a battle between us and them for 500 years. Elijah Muhammad started turning on your power. Oh, they started seeing you starting to make inroads. And turn it off. So first ideas are turn that off. Because he's not teaching you power. Teaching you obedience. Love of devils. So now, the battle's being turned on by Master Covenant. So now the war's about to take place. Because that's where they're going to attack us. Because now we start to achieve power, so that means they're going to resist. That's why they're going to attack us. We start having discipline, they're going to attack us. Resistance. They're losing control over us. You understand it now, brothers and sisters? That's what's going on here. And they're trying to keep you from that happening. That's why Farrakhan always stay here. We're going to be good citizens. We'll fight for America. We love America. They're not enemies. We got to work with them. Scientology. You ever teach about the 5 pillars? You ever even mention it? He doesn't even know what it is. You ever talk about discipline? Oh, we got to stop doing this. They teach you discipline? He might tell you, there was this boy I was over when I was in Florida, right? And this boy, he was like, I guess I'm not going to give him the credit, call my brother. But he was probably the captain of the little study group they had there. Young guy. And so he had gout. I said, hey, you got gout, man? You a young guy. You in your 20s. I said, have you tried fasting? Remember, he's a captain at NOI study group. You know what his answer was? You mean that stuff works? They don't believe in that stuff over there. Just look, they don't believe Elijah Muhammad. That's a bait to get you in there. They don't believe Master Muhammad. That's a bait to get you in there. They don't believe in that stuff. They don't have any power over there. They use that debate to draw you in. That's the art of war, brothers and sisters. Nobody asked you for any money. Nobody will stand on my shoulder. I gave you the 5 pillars. I'll repost my the whole explanation of it. If you need that, and apply them, and watch what happens. Watch your life changes. I got all kinds of opposition, but it don't bother me. When it bothers my age, I can't do anything about that one. So let me let it go, brothers and sisters. How much you understand? You know, and I was telling, you know, I was driving down a highway. I was speeding a little bit, right? I was trying to get around, but I was speeding. This guy, I guess highway patrol or something, he got on me. Boy, he saw me. He jumped in his car, run me down. These people, man, you know. I said, man, I was trying to give him the truck. I just left it like that, right? Oh, cool, yeah. So, give me his life, all that stuff. I gave it to him. He go back in his truck, his car, whatever. Come back 5 minutes later with a ticket. They gave me a ticket, right? So I told him, good, put in the glove compartment with him. We pull out. He said, hey. I said, what? Look at the ticket. I said, what's all that about? Well, look at the ticket, man. You know, I gave him a ticket, man. What's the problem, right? So look at the ticket. Okay. I get the ticket, look at it. What a ticket. There's a piece of paper, had a smiley face on it. It's the devil now. Smiley face said, hey, man, you get there on time. Don't worry about it. I shook his hand. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. I had to be cracking up. But I have situations like that all the time. As long as I stay in my, you know, when I get out my, use my energy to do other things, help other people, so that's not, because all the energy I need right now has to be devoted towards getting this message out and maintaining myself and maintaining my relationship between my loving, adorable, beautiful wife. Because I didn't let that go, right? Okay. We got to protect our women. Okay. Like Elijah Muhammad said, we can't leave it out, so I can't preach it, this angel and then neglect her, because, I mean, we get home without females, what good is that going to do us? They're part of us. So when I say angel maintain myself, I'm talking about myself as her. She's myself. Understand, brothers, sisters too. Your mate is yourself. You got a right hand and a left hand. They're still part of yourself, right? You know, I don't care about, no. We look like we're separate, but we one person in one being. It even says that in the scriptures. It says, you be one flesh. And so when I say I'm not maintaining myself, that means maintaining one being. Right? So that it takes all my energy to do that and get this message out. And I go out and do other people that causes me a problem every time. So I'm going to look at these files. I'm trying to get this information out. If you want to be a follower, you go find somebody else. I'm going to look for these files, and I don't want your money. Okay? That gets into 5 pillars. You understand 5 pillars? You understand that. Right? Gets into zakat. You understand the science of it, right? These folks ask for money, they're going to pay a heavy price for it. That's why I say robbing the nation. Because I'm investing, when I put information out there, that's energy, that's my energy, right? I'm putting it out there. That means I'm investing in my people. Right? So I give you $1 million, right? That means you owe me $1 million. So somebody come and get that $1 million, I mean they took something that don't belong to them. So I'm feeding my people, I'm investing. But so later, I'm going to get return on investment. But there's somebody interfering with that tournament. That Farrakhan, he's claiming he's a measure of covenant and all this stuff. So he's taking something. That's why he got cancer, curse, because he's robbing the nation. Read Malachi. It says there was the God, there's the messenger and the messenger of the covenant, and there was somebody who was robbing the nation. So it ain't Master Muhammad. It ain't Elijah Muhammad. It ain't me. I never asked you a dime. So who's the one ask you for money? And claiming they're the ones. They're claiming they're the Messiah. They're trying to get all the credit and all that stuff. They're not even Messiah. They haven't broken any seals. They're arrogant, like it said. They're stealing. He's robbing nations. He's getting adoration, all that kind of stuff. Whatever. For something he hasn't done. Okay, let me see. I think that's the next thing I'm going to do in close, brothers and sisters. One more thing, I forgot. I have one thing here, I'm going to close. Let me do that and close. Angel. The 5 pillars in the angel. See? This is because of this. The Farrakhan will blame you for being like this had nothing to do with it. And it's still here because we still are like that. If you move this will stop. We go back to our rational. This is not how we are naturally. This is how we are as a result of this force upon us, vectors. One. Okay, this is the one I want to show you. And I see all nations of earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Now he's talking about Isaac. Ishmael didn't obey his voice. Ishmael's oldest brother. Keep that in mind. Now that's what it's saying here. We submitted. Remember, the angels submitted. But the group of angels, the jinn, they didn't submit. And they said they would attack us, the one that angels did submit, from every place until we were raised. So not talking about Adam, because Adam didn't need to be raised. He was already in power. The angels had to be raised because they were submitted, so he had to raise back up again. So he's going to attack us. So Ishmael would attack Isaac in every way possible. Ishmael represents the Sunni. Farrakhan trying to also golden calf. You understand? Okay, let's move on. Keep that in mind. So capitalism. See? Now capitalism, if you look up capitalism, capitalism is an economic system of slavery. The word capitalism did not exist before they started enslaving us. So what's the name? What's the economic system? We know the economic system of sharing. That's called socialism. Sharing all the welfare. That's why America doesn't want socialism, because that means they have to share all. They stole everything with us, and they don't want to share anything. That's why they don't want socialism. And the reason why they want democracy, because democracy means they will always rule. Because democracy means the majority rules. That's why they want they didn't do stuff for no reason. They didn't make. But you think, oh, it's great. No, those systems have a reason. Democracy. So we would never rule. They would always rule us. And capitalism is enslavement by definition. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. The name capitalism is the economic system, economics definition of enslavement. They don't call it. They don't tell you that because they don't want you to know that. Like employee, you're still a slave. They call you employee now. And look at the last four letters here. ALISM. You know that spell? They mix around. Islam. I'm going to that more than all the time, right? Right? Because all these systems is a socialism, all that, right? Because what it is, in other words, how should I say this? Islam is an economic system all by itself. So all these things are a distortion of the Islamic system. That's why, now leave it there. I spend that all the time. So it's all nations, right? Okay, look at these 3 nations, right? These are the main nations, right? Arabs, how they blessed? It says they will be destroyed. Remember that rock that destroyed all the nations? So it has how you going to bless somebody that's destroyed? This has to be before they got destroyed. Remember that rock destroyed all the nations that did, right? The stone that he's talking about? So that means right now, they got our land. Remember that they kicked us off our land. They sold us into slavery. They betrayed us. It's our oldest brother, half brother. They got money, land, that's ours. That's how they got blessed, by stealing our land, betraying us, taking our land, our money, all that's ours. False Israel, they got prestige because they told the ID. They said, oh, Israel, and everybody's got to help them. Who loves Israel, who blesses will be blessed, who curses will be blessed. So they're getting all that prestige and everything because they're saying they're true to Abraham. In America, ideas and innovation. Right? They get that from us. You see ideas of innovation coming out of France or Germany or England, they're all Caucasian countries. Coming out of here because we're here, they can't tell you that. That's why the nation is blessed. And then you take India and China, right? Because they get the jobs that come out of ideas and innovation. Industrial, they sent all the industrial jobs to China because they didn't want us to have them. Right? All the AI jobs, they bring Indians over because they didn't want us to have them. That's what it's talking about, brothers and sisters. And we taking everything back they took from us, everything. That's that stone's going to crush all that resistance. Yep. The mouth. When the Lord consume it, spill his mouth and destroy it. But as they coming, they're being consumed and be going in a minute. A few more days, brothers and sisters. Like I said, my calculation before Christmas. We'll see. Love these devils, don't he? Because that's his father right there. You see the devils, not see Abraham. And it'll be going in a minute. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters.
We have a lot of that going on, so we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these are these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work well until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
When they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics. I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, someone who is half English, I think it's reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the programs. You don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people, and their will becomes all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for 4 more years. And so you wonder, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself. And I completely understand the anger. I don't, like you, I abhor any form of violence. But I do understand the anger when you have, Keir Starmer campaign, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle. Certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. It's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is, like, is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. Like, it's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. Like, that was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, like, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, the population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just, like, let your eyes tell you the truth for once. Like, this is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. I mean, there's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident, that's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. In fact, I'm not a white supremacist. Well, I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
But it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country? Is Sharia law? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country? Is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is the lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's no
your society is about
culture will dominate.
Hang on, surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It's just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society, because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
It's true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
Your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right, so your own values, as determined by the Founding Fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
If you're rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist, because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the Founding Fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society, because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
Your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right, so your own values, as determined by the Founding Fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
If you're rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist, because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. That's just what it is.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, the shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization, and so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. So you have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Like, which one? And you can't face that reality, so you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you can wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore, because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview, and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country, and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization as my country as a sad, disgusting, the rest of it suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe, and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country. That's it's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian, and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
The Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white, we were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation